Remember when Thor was cast out of Asgard, stripped of his powers, and Mjolnir became the modern-day Excalibur waiting for its next user? Imagine this. Rather than end up back in Thor's hand, what if Mjolnir traveled the multiverse to seek someone worthy enough of its power? With no one in the MCU worthy enough, sorry Cap, Mjolnir twisted reality itself and searched fandom after fandom until it found someone who would take the power of Thor. This man would be one who is already of legend across the multiverse. This man is none other than Son Goku. What? Goku? You mean to tell me the guy who gave Cell a Senzu bean? The guy who put the entire multiverse at risk for a good fight is worthy of Mjolnir? Before we rage in the comments, let's first ask what worthiness means in the MCU. As we know, only 2 men have been able to lift Mjolnir: Captain America and, of course, Thor. We're not going to count Vision here because he's like a synthezoid. Anyway, now from the outside looking in, it's due to their selfless actions and not utilizing feelings such as arrogance and pride. However, it's easy to forget that Hela has also been able to wield Mjolnir, and she is pure evil. In that case, there may be more to what makes someone worthy of Mjolnir, and our definition of worthiness may be all wrong. According to a Reddit theory from user jmaster_888, worthiness isn't based on some objective scale such as sacrifice, but it's based on what one believes in their heart. When it comes to humans, we sometimes tend to believe we aren't good enough for something, and that lack of self-confidence can lead us to some very dark places. However, the moment we believe in ourselves, 100% believe in our convictions, we can become capable of just about anything. In this case, lifting Mjolnir. For example, when Thor was originally cast out of Asgard, he was certain that he was still worthy. At least, that's what he showed on the outside. Internally, it was a different story, as seeds of doubt were placed on him by Odin. Based on this theory, his initial failure to lift Mjolnir wasn't because of his arrogance, but because of doubt. The film backs that idea too, as when Thor becomes worthy again, it was because in his mind, selflessness equals worthiness. The same takes place after he failed to go for the head. In Avengers Endgame, Thor was shocked to see that he was still worthy of Mjolnir, and this only came after he was reassured by his mother. Thor believed in himself again, and now he's once again worthy. Let's take a look at the rest of the Avengers. In Age of Ultron, each member was certain they weren't worthy due to their flaws. Natasha due to her past, Tony due to the shame he carries, Banner because he can't control the Hulk, etc., etc. The only one who could do so at the time, but chose not to, was Captain America, because without a doubt he believes in his cause and accepts who he is. According to this theory, Iron Man probably could have lifted Mjolnir after he snapped Thanos away, and this isn't because of his final heroic act. It's because when Pepper tells him that he can rest, Tony finally let go of the shame that's been driving him to prove that he was more than what the world labeled him as. So when we go back to Goku and ask if he is worthy, the answer is yes. Never in the history of Dragon Ball has Goku doubted himself. He goes into every fight with undenying confidence, and even when he loses, he takes it as needing to get stronger rather than asking why he isn't strong enough. So, now that we know that he can lift the hammer, let's ask the fun question: what can he do with it? Now, as all of us are pretty hardcore MCU fans, we know there's a lot of exciting things in store for Goku now that he can wield Mjolnir. One being that he has a brand new taxi to call whenever he needs a lift. Poor Nimbus though, am I right? The guy just wants a little attention. Anyway, as we've seen throughout the MCU, Mjolnir can be summoned from any distance, either to give Thor the focus he needs to use his powers or act as a battering ram. Or, in the case of Goku, probably as a boomerang just for the heck of it. We should also mention that Mjolnir is the key behind Thor's ability to fly. Not that Goku's gonna need it. What he is gonna need, however, is Mjolnir's ability to heal and resurrect. As we saw in 2011's Thor, after Thor was abruptly sent to the afterlife by the Destroyer, one touch from Mjolnir not only brought Thor back to life, but healed all of his injuries too. Now, it's not clear if this power can be used on others, but it would definitely solve Goku's Senzu bean issue. You can't give him away if you don't need one in the first place. Goku will also be excited to know he'll be getting a bit of a power boost. With Mjolnir comes the powers of Thor, or a better way to put it, Asgardian magic. Overall, we would see Goku's power level rise exponentially as it did with Steve Rogers during his battle with the Mad Titan. Along with the up in strength and durability, Goku would now be able to manipulate lightning in two forms. One, as it's generated directly from Mjolnir, and the other done by pulling lightning directly from the sky. Oh, and this is where things get cool. As we've seen countless times from Thor, this lightning can be shot out like a cannon. Combine this with a ki blast or a one-handed Kamehameha, Goku has a whole new attack up his sleeve, especially if he's able to take things to the next level. By that, I mean using God Blast. This attack is yet to be seen in the MCU, but has been seen in various iterations in the comics. In its recent iteration, God Blast is an attack fueled by the rage of all the ancient gods that have come before and their combined refusal to be broken in the face of destruction. What is released is a devastating surge of energy that can take down anything and anyone, including immortals. Now, hopefully, in the case of Dragon Ball, this attack won't take episodes to prepare, but if it does, we'll at least see Goku's brand new form of instant transmission beforehand. With Mjolnir by his side, Goku now has access to the Bifrost, giving him instantaneous access to any of the 9 realms. Now, before we debate what this new transformation will be called, the question we have to ask is, will any of this new power actually be useful to Goku? As we've seen, the power scale is off the charts as we venture into the world of gods and angels. Can the power of the Asgardian gods be the catalyst that pushes Goku to the next level? The age-old question up for debate has always been who is the strongest character across all fandoms. Is it Goku? Is it Superman? Could Naruto take on Dragon Ball? Etc, etc, etc. Now, we have to ask where Thor, and more specifically his powers, stand in comparison to Dragon Ball. Rather than debate power levels, I'd rather use clues scattered between both fandoms to find an answer to this question, and I think it starts by figuring out if using lightning as an attack would be beneficial to Goku or not. Sadly, I don't think the answer is promising. Back in the original Dragon Ball series, Goku had a little face-to-face battle with lightning. I mean, literally, he was shocked by it multiple times. However, it hardly had an effect on him, and that was when he was a kid. If we put that into perspective to Goku in Dragon Ball Super, lightning may feel like nothing more than a bug bite, if even. Now, we must mention that Goku only took a bolt of lightning rather than the focused barrage Thor can create, but knowing this information does raise some questions. However, regardless of this fact, I do believe if Goku had this power against Raditz and possibly even Frieza, he could do some damage. At least enough to keep them down for another strike. However, an issue we have to talk about is Mjolnir's durability in the presence of someone overwhelmingly powerful. We know to wield Mjolnir, one must be worthy. However, there is a loophole in this statement, and that loophole was Hela, who stopped the hammer in its tracks and shattered the legendary weapon. In the world of the MCU, Hela was on an entirely different level. Some would say she was even more powerful than Thanos. I mean, come on, it took a resurrected Surtur to stop her, so if she were put into Dragon Ball, she would likely be on par with the gods of destruction. Look, long story short, Beerus would likely be able to smash Mjolnir just like Hela did, and this theory is weirdly backed by Dragon Ball lore. Much like Mjolnir, the Z-Sword is another legendary weapon which requires someone worthy enough to pull it from its rocky cell. Revealed in Dragon Ball Super, it was Beerus who created the Z-Sword, meaning that he would have the power to destroy it as well, leaving Goku without his Asgardian Zenkai boost. Now, there is a possibility Goku could ascend beyond these limitations. We know that Mjolnir isn't the source of Thor's power, the hammer only acts as a device to allow Thor to focus and hone his craft. While this idea has yet to be proven, there is a theory among fans that with enough training, anyone who can use Mjolnir could eventually access its power without having the hammer in their possession. What this means is that in a battle between Goku and Beerus, or even Whis, if Mjolnir was destroyed, Goku would still have access to this new form, and if he can pull off God Blast, it may be all she wrote. Now, against the Omni King, that's a whole different story. So, if Goku is Thor, who would be Dragon Ball's Iron Man, Captain America, and Hulk? I definitely think Broly takes the Hulk spot, but I'm curious to see who you think fits the bill of these iconic Marvel characters.